Welcome to the video. The other day I was having a bit of a soundtrack frenzy, digging into some of my collection of movie soundtracks and TV series soundtracks, and I was listening to this one, which is Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's got that jazzy noir sort of feel to it, and from Alex North, the composer. And it's got, what's really interesting about this, to me anyway, is that it has spoken word. It's got little extracts from the movie itself. And I thought, oh, I'd love to get a hold of some more of these, 50s and 60s soundtracks. And I started checking out online to see if there's any record fairs around. And I found one in Wolverhampton in the West Midlands. So yesterday I went to my first record fair since February. Bought a bunch of stuff. Not much in terms of second hand. I wasn't successful in the soundtrack stakes, but I did buy some new vinyl for some pretty sporty prices as well. So most of the new vinyl that I bought were £10 each. Normally they'd be between £25 and £35 on Amazon, for example, or in a regular retailer like HMV. But for £10 each, so I took a few risks. So the first one that I'm going to show is At My Piano by Brian Wilson. I have the horrible feeling that, given that this got fairly mediocre reviews, that this is going to sound like elevator music. But hopefully it's going to be a little bit better than that. I've not tried it yet. But it's all these classic songs in here. The melodies are going to be undeniable. Whether he's an accomplished pianist, I've absolutely no idea. But that's going to be interesting, at least to hear once. We'll see. The second is a bit more familiar. It's the double 45 RPM version of Pink Floyd's A Momentary Lapse of Reason. I bought this because I was really enamored with the Animals remix that came out earlier this year. And I thought, well, I've got the original 33 from the RPM from the 1980s, 87, I think. And I thought, well, it's worth taking a punt because it's going to, if the vinyl is good, it's going to sound absolutely fantastic. And it was sealed. All these new albums were sealed. The other day, I did a video in which I mentioned this artist, and I was suggesting that I didn't particularly like her early period because I thought that her singing was rather screechy, and that's, of course, is Joni. And this is the audition tape for Joni Anderson at the time from 1963. Worth hearing to see what it was like. I'm sure it's going to be raw as hell. But what have we got here? It's just doing some standards here. House of the Rising Sun, Dark as a Dungeon from Merle Travis, Molly Malone, Nancy Whiskey, Tell Old Bill, traditional songs. So that's going to be worth hearing, I'm sure. Looking forward to that. This is another one that I've picked up several times in record shops thinking, shall I buy it? But I can't. I've never seen it as cheaply as this one. And this is Bert Yanch, Just a Simple Soul, which is a double album career compilation, which has got The Needle of Death on it, which of course is his most famous song from the early 60s. So that's going to be great. I do like him. Never saw him, unlike this artist, who I saw many times, but I've held off buying this album. This is Springsteen and the E Street Band. This is the 1979 No Nukes concert. Really nice package, double album, great songs on here, good set list. Also got a really nice booklet with loads of great pictures. I'll just give you a quick glance at some of that. Here we go. There we go. So this is just before the release of The River. So a picture there with Jackson Browne, on with Jackson Browne and Tom Petty. And then you've got Danny Federici and Roy Bittan and loads of pictures of Clarence Clemens as well. So a nice package. Springsteen and the E Street Band, the legendary concert from No Nukes. Compilation this time from Mott the Hoople, the golden age of rock and roll. This was £16, double album. Got all the hits on it as well. That's going to be great to put on when I'm doing other things. This album, I already have a version of it, but I'm always on the lookout for a pristine copy. And this is Go by Stomu Umashita. It has Steve Winwood, Michael Shreve on this as well. Aldo Meola on guitar. Only really one song on this album, well, two songs, Winner Loser, but the best one is Crossing the Line. The rest of it is kind of ambient fusion. Great percussion, great guitar, great atmospherics, absolutely fantastic album. Absolutely love this. So if you're interested in any of that sort of fusiony ambient style, then this is definitely a go-to album. Get it? Compilation, Save the Children, soul compilation, got loads, I think from the early 1973, I think it is. It's got Marvin Gaye on it, Curtis Mayfield, the OJs, Temptations, Bill Withers, Sammy Davis Jr., Roberta Flack, Ramsey Lewis Trio, Nancy Wilson, and Gladys Knight, and it's got some dialogue from the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Of course, Lou Reed had something to say about Jesse Jackson. Check out the New York album. Remarkably, this was £10, and this is the Giles Martin remix of Let It Be and Abbey Road. 10 quid each. Sadly, no Revolver. Still holding off buying that one because it's still a bit too expensive. Comp from Three Dog Night. Got a couple of albums of theirs, but compilation is kind of probably as far as I really want to go. So I'm looking forward to that one. A live album from 1999, which is a FM broadcast. And this is from Roger Waters, and it's called Here in the Flesh from New Jersey. Double album. This is volume 1. And I picked up volume 2 as well. It's got all the usual suspects in terms of tracks on it. I have listened to this one. This is the only album I've listened to so far from the vinyl I picked up yesterday. It's a bit raw. It's a bit like the radio station put up a mic or two next to the soundboard and picked up a lot of the audience noise as well. Audience is super enthusiastic, so nothing really wrong with that one. But it's a little bit too close to the mic in my judgment. And so it's listenable. 10 minutes in, you forget that the audio quality is only a 7 out of 10. But it's definitely good if you're into Floyd and Roger Waters. Another broadcast. This is called A Rider in the Rain, which is Tom Waits, which is from the Black Rider sessions in 1993. This album seems to me, I haven't listened to it yet, obviously. Seems to me it's got some dialogue, but it's also got some playing versions of tracks that different versions from the tracks that made the official release. So that's going to be interesting, worth a punt as well. This is my only mistake yesterday, and this is Ben Folds and So There. It's a mistake because I already had it. And it's sitting in a pile of yet to be listened to new vinyl that's been sitting around for maybe a year. I wasn't sure when I picked this up. Did I buy it last time? And I thought, well, look, for £10, I'll give it a go. I'll take the risk. I'll always be able to put it somewhere else in the house, and I won't have to go to the music room to recover it if I want to play it. But it's a double album, 8 chamber rock songs featuring Y Music. But it's also got on side 3, Concerto for Piano and Orchestra, and side 4, a series of instrumentals. I was never that keen on Ben Folds. I bought his first album on the back of good reviews. Too much piano in my book. The tracks were a bit too samey. But a friend of mine was playing stuff for me several years later, and the sound palette had broadened quite considerably. So definitely give him the benefit of the doubt. So I'm sure this is a very low risk purchase. And the final vinyl album I picked up, I already have this one on CD, but you can't deny the Last Who album, which has got two 12-inch vinyls plus a 10-inch EP in here as well. If that's right, yes, it has. It's a good album. Far better than it deserves to be so late in their career, but that's definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to listening to. And I also bought a CD box set. I've got quite a few CD box sets, but I tend not to look out for them. But this was just a steal at £20, and it was still sealed. And this is Isaac Hayes, The Spirit of Memphis, which is a 4 CD set, which includes singles, that tracks that he produced and composed for other artists in the Stax portfolio. But it's also got some great album tracks and another CD of single tracks. And the last one, the last CD, has a 33-minute version of Do Your Thing. So I'm looking forward to listening to that one. It also has a 7-inch single in this lovely package here. So fantastic booklet, hardbacked, great stuff, absolutely superb. Listened to a bit of this last night and very, very impressed. You can't go wrong with an Isaac Hayes compilation. So not a bad haul, considering. Didn't cost me a whole lot, but it's, you know, as I say, it's my first visit to a record fair for a while. I think I'm going to be going back a little bit sooner this time. So that's the video for today on my latest haul, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.